Ignatia the inventor from Indiana. You know what I wish, Mom? What do you wish, dear? I hope I can make your wish come true. I wish I could talk to the people I am learning about in school, Mom, like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, and Harriet Tubman. You wish you could talk to them, dear? They died a long time ago and I don't think I or anyone else can bring them back to life. Why do you want to talk to them? Because I wish I could ask them questions about how things were when they were alive at that time. They could tell me stories and tales about their lives and what they did. We can read about them in books, dear. Books are different from a live person, Mom. When I have a question, I ask you or Dad or my teacher, or sometimes I search on the internet. Wouldn't it be awesome if I had a question for George Washington and I just ask him directly? Of course, dear. It would be amazing if we could bring back people who passed away, talk to them whenever we want, and ask them questions about things we didn't know about them or about what happened during their lifetime. But how can we bring people back from the dead, dear? I think the world will be interested in bringing back some great persons from the past. But we can't do that. I wish I can invent something that will do just that, Mom. Well, why don't you think of an invention, dear? I am not sure what exactly is an invention, Mom. It is something new that solves a problem, or something that already exists but is applied in a different context, dear. It starts with thinking about a problem or a need. There is an old saying, need is the mother of all inventions. When we need something and there is no easy way to get it, we invent. The wheel was invented to make things roll easier on the ground. Knives were invented to make cutting things easier. Backpacks were invented to make carrying books to school easier. Imagine if you don't have a backpack. You have to carry all the books, lunch pack, pens and pencils, water bottle, and a notebook in your hands. I don't think I have enough hands to carry all these without a backpack, Mom. Exactly, dear. You need a backpack and someone invented it so you can use it. Another important thing about inventions is to think outside the box. Which box, Mom? I don't have boxes in my head. Oh, I meant not to get stuck in an idea. We certainly cannot bring back the dead, however, is there something similar between the people who lived in the past and the people living today? Both lived with family and friends, Mom. Exactly, dear. We are intelligent beings and learn everything from our parents, school, books, and personal experiences. All that we learn is in our minds. If we collect all the information we have about Abe Lincoln and put it together with all the information we have about the time he lived in and put that into an artificial intelligence robot that looks like him, then when we ask him questions about himself or events that happened at that time, he will be able to tell us. Even if we ask about the weather at that time, we can have a dialogue with Abe Lincoln, George Washington, Harriet Tubman, and anyone we want. Is it easy or cheap to build a robot like that, Mom? No, dear, it is not. However, all these persons you mentioned and many more don't have to be physical robots, because that will limit the number of people who can interact with them. We can make them like holograms that a device can project them in front of anyone who has that device. So, if you want to talk to President Washington and ask him about his experience in crossing the Delaware River, you can do that. He will tell you the details, how cold that night was, who was with him, what were his plans, and anything else you want to know. So, I will talk to him and Ben Franklin, Harriet Tubman, and anyone programmed in the device, and we can have a chat, Mom? Exactly, dear. We can go back as far as we like in history, so you can talk to Caesar, Plato, and Socrates, or people from our modern era like Albert Einstein who can help you with your math, or Charles Darwin who can tell you about his voyage and his discoveries. If we add glasses or a device that can put you in the time or era when these people lived and in the places they traveled, that will be even more amazing. What do we need to create a device like that, Mom? We need two things, dear. The first is all the information we can gather about a person we want to animate or make them live again, like what they said, how did they say it, how was their temper, all their writings and ideas, and everything else we can gather about them. We also need to gather information about their time, like famous and regular people, their numbers, how did they live, weather and health conditions, was there enough food, how did they travel, what did they eat, and anything else we can find. It is like we are trying to recreate the world those people lived in. Then we put all that information into an intelligent system that will organize that data and be able to understand and answer any questions about those people. The system will create the person we want to talk to, and we can have a chat with that person. It is like we are bringing the mind or thoughts of that person back to life. So, I can ask Abe Lincoln about his Gettysburg Address and ask him to read it for me, and explain the words I don't understand, and he will do that, Mom? Yes, dear. We are doing that now, but not in this format. What do you mean, Mom? We made movies about famous people from early and recent histories. Movie actors and actresses studied the persons they played in these movies and acted their roles. So, we had movies about Caesar, the ancient Roman ruler, and the movie showed how people lived at that time, what Caesar said, and how he wore his clothes. However, all that is in a movie. You cannot ask the movie questions or tell it to show what happened next after Caesar died. Movies are one-way communication, they just tell you what happened. We are inventing something that will enable you to talk to almost anyone you want in history. So, will I be learning a lot of history all the time, Mom? Not really, dear. A lot of the math and science you are learning today was invented or discovered by scientists in the past. You can ask Sir Isaac Newton about how he discovered the laws of motion, and how he invented calculus. You can ask Thomas Edison about his inventions, and Al-Khwarizmi about how he invented the algorithms we use in computer science today. What are laws of motion and calculus, Mom? You see, dear. The people who invented them are the best to explain them, however, and to answer your question, laws of motion describe how things move around us like planets, cars, and trucks, and calculus is a type of math. Can we, me and you, Mom, create this system and this device? It is challenging for us alone to do it, dear. We need the help of engineers, historians, computer programmers, and designers, and more. The digital assistant we have at home that you like to call and ask how the weather will be tomorrow was made by many people. So, to create a device that will enable you to talk to people from the past will require work from more than just me and you. Got it, Mom. I will think more about that tomorrow. I am getting sleepy. Good night. Good night, dear. That evening Ignatia had a dream. She woke her mom up the next morning to tell her what she saw. Mom, good morning. I had a dream last night. Good morning, dear. What did you see? I created the device we talked about yesterday and I spoke with President Lincoln when he was giving the Gettysburg Address. Then I asked him about his favorite food. He said he liked corned beef and cabbage. He also liked apples. It was amazing to see him and talk to him in person, Mom. That is amazing, dear. I hope you become a successful inventor. I hope so too, Mom, can't wait.